Hello, thank you for joining me. Yesterday I did the video for the next full moon occurring on the 17th of January 2022. And when I was just changing, because you can see by the skies that there's going to be some sort of issue with the stock market, generally speaking. So you can see there's a lot of things going on, and Mercury, which rules the third house, the natural zodiac, was hemmed between Sun and Saturn in the chart. So I thought I'll have a look and see, because just think that all these stuff are just going to be occurring. And I looked at the chart and I looked for their full moon, and it's just very telling because it's occurring in the sidereal Gemini, which is stock exchange, money, and all those kind of exchanges, if you like, commerce, stuff like that. So let's have a look at the actual chart. That will be much more helpful. Just get rid of this, and I'm just going to get rid of myself as well, so we can just have a look in peace. So I was just changing the time and just checking, because just the way everything was looking, and as this is what I was talking about. I mean, this is a little bit later than the actual when the full moon occurs. So a few hours later, that was about like maybe just after midnight or something. And here we are, 10 past 10 in the morning in London, and you can see Mercury is retrograde. So the ruler of the third house is retrograde. It's sitting there with fifth house ruler as well of the natural zodiac, which is investments, really. So it's sitting there, and Mercury is really wedged between two malefics there. By 10 o'clock, 10 past 10 in the morning, you can see it becomes Pisces ascending. And I'm just wondering if things are going to be happening from, soon after the, who knows? I mean, I'm not saying but I just think it's quite interesting, because even in this chart, that at 10 past 10, you can see that moon then becomes the fifth house ruler. It's obviously unsupported moon as well. And so that's like investments and stuff, and it's being challenged by Saturn from the 11th house, because it's Pisces 11th house ruler, and also 6th house ruler as well, Leo, and Mercury just being wedged between the two. So, and more than anything, I thought it was quite good. And if I just show you on this one, you can see it better because the Navamsha will be there. So basically, just talking about Rahu, because Rahu does quite well in Taurus, generally speaking. It's friendly sign for it, and it's in some of the actual text, it does say that it's exalted there. And when it started its journey into Taurus, it was first, obviously, the nodes go backwards. So it went from Gemini into Taurus, and it was still in Mrigashira, because the very first nakshatra when it entered for backwards into Taurus was Mrigashira. So Mrigashira is ruled by Mars, and it's all about like searching for soma, for the elixir of life, if you like. And so this is when, at the time, we had all these issues going on with the virus, and Rahu Ketu are viruses and pathogens, generally speaking. And so wherever they are, there is something happening. And obviously, from where it's sitting, Rahu, even if it was on Mrigashira, it was in the natural zodiac, it was aspecting Virgo, which is the natural sixth house. So we're looking at this now, if it was actually as Aries ascendant. And it was also aspecting, and it still is aspecting, Capricorn, which is the natural 10th house of the zodiac, and it rules governments and structures of governments. And as an Aries ascendant, he also rules, Saturn also rules the natural 11th house of the zodiac, which is all the sort of big organizations. You can say any. We could be banking. 11th house is banking. It can also be like shipping, pharmaceuticals. All of those will fall into the big organizations. So obviously, you can see that Rahu also rules the co-rules Aquarius with Saturn, and it has been sitting in the second house of the natural zodiac in Taurus for almost coming up to a year and a half. So I would say that is very telling that people who do work in those big sectors, they have been earning quite a lot of money, because Taurus is natural second house of the zodiac. This is 11th house ruler, you know, of organizations, big sort of big conglomerates and things like that. They're earning good big money. Now gradually, obviously, Rahu's been then going through Migrashira, so we actually had an answer for this. There was all these things put in the arms for them, and which made them loads of money. And then obviously went into what would be like Rohini, ruled by the moon nakshatra, and that nakshatra is all about like the arts and food and all that kind of stuff. And Rahu is a malefic in a sense as well. So we've had, you know, so I guess they have enjoyed a really, really good life, you can see, and loads of money, things like that. And Rahu, since it's been going into Kritika, it actually creates a little bit of issues for those sort of places, because Rahu, for one thing, is not friendly with the sun, which is the ruler of Kritika nakshatra, and then not friendly towards each other at all. And also Kritika is very much about cutting things. So you've had all the enjoyment. So it's now, this is the opposite side of Rahu. So it starts, what is giving you starts taking back. And also sun is the natural separator as well. So it's naturally kind of saying goodbye. And you will notice that will happen more and more actually as the time goes by. So, yep, they have enjoyed a lot of money, and the governments have also been, some of them have actually had shares in these, and they have been also been enjoying that too. So you can see lots of money has been going on, stuff like that. And also, as I said, you know, remember the natural sixth house of the zodiac, Virgo. It's also the medics, doctors, and nurses too. So they also have obviously been working hard, I'm sure, but some of them have been earning quite a lot of money too. So there's, and naturally in this life, you realize there is always a payback. So, you know, you can't take, you know, whatever you do is going to have a consequence. So if you are taking what would be like not very ethical ways of earning money, inevitably things will turn, and that karma will have to be paid back. If not soon, you know, it will happen at some point. So, and the nodes are, they want you to process your karma that you've had before, or they're giving you karma. You're living through that. So big money has been earned, and that money is not going to be so easy to enjoy for some people, because the way has not been so ethical maybe for some. So this is some of the things that I just wanted to point out. So, and also Mercury being the rule in the third house of media and sixth house of health, in the 10th house, being aspected by Rahu as well, very hemmed. And third house there will be, so I think we're in for a whole new system of, you know, because right now, the ruler of Kritika will be like sitting in the 10th house, and or 10th house of natural zodiac. But look at what's happening, you know, in Capricorn, not in very condition. I mean, Sun does quite well in the 10th, But I think this is also a house where you actually pay your karmas off as well. 10th house, karmas to the actual to the world, if you like. So there's some level of exposure coming up, and also sixth house is litigations as well. So Mercury is probably, whilst it is actually being retrograde, is collecting a lot of information. So Sun is also leaders. So I wonder what is going to be coming up soon. But when I was coming and doing this chart and having a look and see what's happening after the full moon, so when it got to this point where their ascendant was Pisces, and I was wondering if soon after that we are actually going to see a difference in the stock exchange, and our market's going to be a little bit in trouble really, because look at that. So Jupiter, which rules the first and the 10th house for Pisces ascendant, is actually in the 12th house of loss and expenses, in Aquarius of all places, and in Shatabisha, which is ruled by Rahu. Very, very interesting. And so I did kind of look at this and I was wondering, oh, I wonder if, because this is very, very telling, because the fifth house ruler is in the fifth house, but it's being aspected, if a Pisces ascendant, by the Sun, by Mercury, and by Saturn also. And Saturn is also loss. So I wonder if, because Moon is still in Pushya, it's still kind of in the same nakshatra where the full moon started. So I'm wondering if this is going to be the start of things happening. And Mars also in the 10th house, which is good. Mars strong. So, but Mars is also sitting with 8th house ruler of losses. So there could be a lot of job losses in those very big industries and things. So, and then I looked at the what would be like the D9 for it as well. So you can see for like K2 being like leaders, and Leo being leaders and royalty and all of those kind of things, and K2 is sitting on the ascendant, and Rahu will be in the 7th house. So this is quite interesting, because Rahu is sitting in own nakshatra, Shatabisha, with the Sun as well. So the first house ruler is in the 7th house, and also Sun is debilitated in the 7th house, and is sitting with Rahu, which they don't get on very well. It's an enemy sign too. So this is like a very interesting time, because the 5th house ruler, which is the investments, becomes debilitated in the 6th house here. So Jupiter being like the 8th house and 5th house ruler is debilitated in the 6th house. So that kind of made me wonder if we are actually heading for something, because also Moon and Venus are in the 2nd house as well. Venus is debilitated. And yeah, I was just thinking, wow, it's amazing, really. 12th house rulers were in the 2nd house. And to me, it looks as though there could be like a start of some new things happening, and markets could be really struggling with that, because Venus is planet of, it's also retrograde. Mercury is retrograde. So this is like 11th house ruler as well. Mercury is retrograde. So a lot of things going on in that sense, where gains are not going to be so easy. And we have like Gemini being the stock exchange. We have Saturn sitting there. Saturn is also 6th house ruler in this chart, sitting in the 11th house of gains and banking. So yeah, I wonder if there's some trouble coming up. I don't know if it's going to impact all of us that much, not just normal people, but I do think it's like things are changing a little bit in that sense, and maybe we are in for some different times coming up. And this is all like karmic periods really, where universe and God want us to stop trusting the bureaucrats and lawmakers and trust ourselves, and take responsibility for our own health and decision making. And when they make decisions that are not right for us, not to actually feel as though we can't have a say, but we can actually hold them accountable for this. So this is, I feel as though it's time, because I don't think the money that some of those establishments have made during this last 2 years is going to be actually enjoyed by any of them. So this is a bit of an awakening moment, if you like, where we realize that we pay taxes on our income, on things that we purchase, and we give money to charities and everything. But where does that money actually go? Because how is it that there are so many people who are still suffering around the world? And yeah, so we're going to question a lot of those things. And also, it's amazing how these people are making all these decisions for us about like global warming and things like that. They are jetting off all over the place. What they access and use uses up a lot more carbon than we do. So is this actually all of this? Do we need to actually research into this and see why is this happening? You know, why are we allowing people that we don't even know who they are, they're actually making decisions on our lives? So, but this is also after a crash, which actually might not be a bad thing, because I think a gold-backed system will be so much better than what we have now, which is the fiat system, which is like printing for the sake of printing, but the money is not real. So, but it will actually make you realize that soon after, though, what will happen is Saturn will actually go from Shravana into Dhanishta, and it will actually activate building. So we will remake and rebuild and restart everything soon after. So this is going to be a time of awakening, actually, because we realize a lot of these things are just like inflation and all of that. It's just, how can that be real? How can everything be real when the money is just printed? It's just paper. It's got no value, really, in a sense. And should we be investing more in things that are more tangible, gold, silver, platinum, things like that? So I think it's going to be good times coming for sure. And we will want in the future, we will want accountability. And this will mean that also, I wonder if eventually it'll kick. So because fifth house of the natural zodiac, education, and then sixth house being health, I'm wondering if we will actually think to ourselves again and not allow anyone in charge to have so much power, and to be involved in our education and health. Those are the things should be separate and not ruled by any form of government. We should actually look after those things. Those are very, very fundamental to us, and they shouldn't be chop and change by by the parties coming in every 4 years or so. So we should be actually having a say on that, because it directly affects us. So that I think will be really good in that sense. So that a lot more, a lot wiser as well. And the whole the systems, I think once you get rid of that, you'll be able to deal with things such as all these different levels of bureaucrats we have to go through, all this red tape. So do we really need them? Some of those, I just think that the whole structure personally is going to come crashing down, really. Once Saturn goes into Aquarius, it will literally shake Aquarius up, and all those big companies that we've been respecting and thinking, oh, this Bank of England, or this and that and the other, we're going to kind of realize what they actually did nothing that will help us in any way, shape or form. So it was always going to be for the super rich, and not for us. So we will actually gain a lot. And the moment, actually, what will happen is, I think, obviously, I feel as though the stock market will crash soon. And also this, we might actually go into what would be, because Jupiter and Saturn, will have a lot of impact, and all the fast-moving planets will be going through Aquarius as well. And because also this is like a Kala Sarpa time yoga, where all the planets are between Rahu, Ketu. I mean, I know at the moment, at that time. Moon is going to be there, but generally speaking, that's a very fast moving planet. But this is going to be a very karmic time where we're just going to literally maybe change once they go into Aquarius. We will create like more local governments, if you like, local leaders rather than national ones. And that will mean that there would be much more, we will have much more say in everyday things. And we can also see where our money goes, you know, if anything like that. But generally speaking, I think it'll be, all of it will be better. And when Ketu also goes into Libra, that will be a really good time as well, because what it will do, um, it will kind of restrict the sort of unhealthy things to do with commerce as well. So that will be, and justice will definitely will be served, because it's house of justice and planet of getting rid of anything that's no longer needed, will be just cutting through some of that red tape and release us from that as well. So I think we got some good times coming. I think we just got to hang in there and see what the future is coming. But it's really quite telling about all the amazing things that the skies can tell us, really. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you soon. Thank you.